share my story. Bear with me as the tears may flow. I'm going to share how the stigma and the lack of education on mental illness affected my family. In January of this year, my 16-year-old son Ian told me that he thought he was suffering from depression. He stated he was sad a lot and having a hard time staying focused in school, and had thoughts of hurting himself, but that he would never act on them. I suffer from depressive episodes where I become non-functioning for weeks at a time, so I thought that I understood. I was so very wrong. I was not educated at all or prepared for what was to come. I took Ian to my family doctor, who put him on an antidepressant. After a month and Ian not having any change, his dosage was up. Things seemed to get better for a while and he seemed back to his normal self. After a while though, we noticed that he was withdrawing more. When I asked him how he was doing, he always told me that he was fine or he was okay. He kind of got annoyed with me when I asked him, as if I was kind of a bother that, I would take the moment to say, "How are you doing today?" In the middle of April, Ian's girlfriend texted me to say that she had picked Ian up from the overpass near his dad's house, and that he had been crying. At this time we knew we needed to do something more, but we weren't sure of what. We contacted a counselor and got Ian in right away. We also started hand-giving Ian his medicines, as he had stopped taking them. Here's where part of the stigma hit. Ian's girlfriend's parents decided that he was too sick to continue to date their daughter. I was told she had a future and goals ahead of her, as if my son's depression was contagious, and as if he didn't have a future or goals for himself. They made us tell him that he was no longer going to be able to date their daughter. They took her phone and they blocked him from having any communication with her. They thought that they were protecting their daughter. This event sent my son into a crisis. He started hyperventilating and screaming that he was going to kill himself. Nothing we said to him calmed him down. Ian stated that it didn't matter what help we tried to get him, that he would tell them whatever he needed to in order to get home to take his life. At this point, I called 911, not knowing what else to do at the moment. As soon as the officers arrived, Ian went stone-faced and showed no emotion. The police told us since Ian was a minor that it was our responsibility to transport him to community mental health. We then drove nervously 25 minutes to the nearest CMH. We told the intake person the events that had occurred and everything that Ian had said, including the fact that he stated that no matter what we had tried to get him help, that he would tell them whatever they needed to hear so he could get sent home. She asked Ian if that was a true statement, and he said yes. She then asked him if he had a plan, and he told her yes, he was going to jump off a bridge. She then asked us if we had Medicaid or Medicare. We said no, we have Blue Cross Blue Shield. At that time, she told us that they didn't take private insurance and that she would have the doctor come out and talk to us. The doctor came out and we repeated our story to him. The doctor told us they didn't accept our insurance and handed me back our insurance card. He told us to take Ian to an emergency room and he would receive the same care there and it would be covered by our insurance. I asked him if he would get the same care there. Would he get an evaluation and up to a 72-hour hold? The doctor stated that he would and that all ERs do this. So we headed to the nearest emergency room. Once there, we repeated the events of the night to the resident that we were talking to. Again, they asked Ian if it was accurate and if he had a plan, and he again stated yes. The resident then asked to speak to Ian alone. After she finished, she took us into a room and told us that Ian was now calm, to take him home and to contact his family doctor and get his meds changed and to up his counseling to twice a week. Wait, what? What about the evaluation? He hadn't even seen an attending physician at this point, just the resident. We were told that they didn't keep a psychiatrist on staff and they didn't do 24-hour holds anymore. She then stated that since it was Sunday night, and by this time it was fairly late, it was close to midnight by the time that we had finished talking to her. She said no place they called would get back with them until Monday morning, so we should take Ian home and make calls on our own the next day. We were then discharged. It was Ian's night at his dad's house, so I dropped them off. We had went together as a family to try to get him home. I told Ian we'd get through this together, and he promised me he wasn't going to take his life. And told him that I loved him. Less than 12 hours later, as I was at my house trying to find Ian more extensive treatment, Ian asked his dad to go to the store to get him his favorite cereal. Less than 10 minutes later, as his dad exited the store, he heard the sirens, and he knew. Our son had lost his battle with his depression. Because of the residents' lack of knowledge on how to handle a mental health crisis, we were not able to get the proper treatment for our son's illness before it took his life. His father and I had lacked the knowledge to know what our options were. NAMI is working to help change this, to erase the separation that people put between a physical illness and a mental illness. A person with a physical illness wouldn't be left untreated. So why are so many mental illnesses left untreated? Thank you all for being here and to help educate and advocate for this change.